Namaste. First a prayer. Om Agnenaya Subadharaye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidvan Yuyodhyasmadjuhurana Menaha Bhuyishtam Te Namautim Vidhema. This is a prayer to God Agni, fire. Agni is an all-knowing God. He is the leader. Lights our path. So we pray to Lord Agni to lead us on the right path. And for that favor, we salute him, we prostrate him at his feet thousands of times. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace be, peace be, peace be. Okay. So we are at the end of our Dharma talks. And the question that we have been pursuing consistently was this: what should I do? Kim maya kartavyam. What is my duty? What is my calling? What should I do so that I can do justice to myself, my family, my community, my country, humanity at large, my environment? So I have to do justice to all these dimensions of my life. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you are responsible for your choices. You can discuss with people, you can consult with your own conscience, you can consult a specialist, but ultimately, yadhechasi tatha kuru. Do as you deem fit. Don't blame me, Krishna says. You can take my advice, you can discuss with people, but finally, it is your responsibility. Krishna again says, Uddhared Atmanatmanam. You have to lift yourself by your own bootstraps. Don't blame fate. If you blame fate, then that will be your fate. So take responsibility. Make the right choices. Because your whole life is built upon the choices you make moment to moment. That is what you enjoy or suffer in life. So, yadhechasi tatha kuru. That's a very fundamental statement by Krishna. He puts the whole responsibility on us. I am there to support you. I am there to give you a help. But finally, it is your responsibility. So therefore, and Krishna also said that, SVADHARMA nidhanam shreyaha. Even death is welcome. Following your calling or your duty. Do your duty. Follow your calling. Even death is welcome, appreciated. So therefore, it puts a lot of responsibility on human beings who enjoy the freedom of choice. We have certain choices. But please understand, when Krishna or the Dharma Shastra talks about you, you are not a lone individual. You are not just a body, mind, ego complex. That should be very clear. That's a kind of Western concept. I am all by myself. The phenomenological philosophy that I am my body, my mind, nothing more than that. So the extreme individualism, that is not the dharmic concept of the individual. The dharmic concept of the individual is, of course, you have got a unique body, mind, ego complex, which you are driving as you are interacting with the world, which is your prakriti or varna. That is accepted. But at the same time, you are part of a system. Because your decisions affect the system, and later it comes back on you, boomerangs on you. Which is very much evident in the modern world. We have seen by our actions, we have destroyed the whole environment. So those actions will come back to you, or your children, or your grandchildren. Then they will curse you. So you are not only an individual, unique individual, you are part of a system with many layers. That is why we become a bhakta. I have already told you about that, Dharma. Bhakta means I relate myself to the system. I owe something to the system. And therefore I have certain duties, a certain responsibility. And in turn I have certain rights also. It is not that just the responsibilities and duties. I help you, you help me. This is a reciprocal relationship. We have discussed that. So I am a related individual. I have relatives. So, as a body, mind, ego complex, you are a karta, bhokta, you are a doer, enjoyer. Samsari. Isn't it? Samsari. I am lost in this world. But, as a bhakta, you are somewhere to lean on. You have a shoulder to lean on. You can pray. You can seek help. You are not alone in this world. There are a lot of good people to help you. Avail that help. If you don't avail that help, that's your problem. So therefore, I am not only a unique individual, I am part of a system, a reciprocal. What I do affect the environment and at the end of it comes back to me. That dirgha drishti, that long view is necessary, which you call emotional intelligence. If I do something today, what will be the consequence? Consequential thinking, which requires certain mental discipline, some experience at least. You can logically think, or at least your experience as you have become older. When you become a grandma, all the mistakes you did, you tell your children, don't do that, don't do that. Grandma did this mistake. But the child will realize only when the child become a grandma. So this grandma wisdom is not made use of by anyone. That's why Vyasa says, I raise my hand and say, please do this, but nobody listens to me. Nobody listens to me. Because I have this experience, this wisdom. Born out of the crucible of long experience. So you are not only an individual, you are a related person. Feel the responsibility. You can kick the dust off your feet and walk out. But at the same time, there are a lot of people are suffering in the process. Who are invested in it. You don't see that. You don't see that. So therefore, you are a related individual. And that relationship can go up to Ishvara, Bhagavan, Krishna. Because Krishna took the chariot of your life, isn't it? Thinking that you are going to do the right thing. Then in the middle of it, you say, I am giving up. Krishna thought I packed a wrong horse, isn't it? Don't do that. Look back. Look up. The 360-degree perception is necessary. So that is your second. As an individual, you are related to the system. And then you have a transcendental dimension. Please don't forget that. I will be coming to the next talk is on that. On the Brahman talk, we'll be talking on your transcendental dimension, your absolute freedom. That we have forgotten. Our transcendental dimension we have forgotten. Because you either meditate or do yoga or reflect. So the transcendental dimension is very important. Because that gives you a different perspective altogether. That's why I am going to give you 5 talks on the transcendental dimension of your individuality. So you are a combination of all the 3. You are a very complex individual. You look so simple, but you are a very complex individual. You have got a deep root in Brahman, in Shiva. Whenever you are tired and you feel entropy, lack of energy, go into that Brahman dimension and invoke energy out of that. And it is available free. You don't have to pay anything because you already paid for it. It's already free. Whenever you feel that entropy, tiredness, lost, I don't know what to do, close your eyes, take a long deep breath and say, oh, and then you're again back into the field. So therefore, that dimension should not be broken. Actually, our job is to bring you into that dimension. But at the same time, at this point, you are wandering in this world. So we have to give you what is right, what is wrong, that advice is to be done. That ethical education is necessary at this point. But later you will realize, you will have that insight. Because once you are established in Brahman, you will have the insight. You will become spontaneously right. What do you do become Veda Vakya. You become the walking, living, breathing Veda in flesh and blood. Veda means one was the understanding, the insight of what is right and wrong, what to avoid, what to do. So these 3 dimensions of our individuality is to be understood. So whenever you feel tired and sick and lost and confused, close your eyes, go into your own depth. So how to do that will be the theme of Brahman talk. So I don't want to preempt myself. So today's point is that what is my SVADHARMA? What is my calling? What should I do? Is the question. And we have been pursuing that question for the last 5 or 6 sessions. We have been pursuing that question. Because why we ask this question, what should I do? Because we also know that we can mess up our life. That is the price you pay for your freedom. You can mess up your life. Otherwise, you will be in prison. In prison, nobody will hurt you, isn't it? Therefore, some criminal, they want to be in prison because nobody will hurt. So, we can mess up our life. Suppose there is a thought experiment in Plato's, the old Greek philosopher Plato. Plato is like Vyasa. Vyasa means one called Vishala Buddhi, who has this 360-degree perception about things. That's the meaning of Plato also, Vishala. Large-hearted, person who can see things inside and outside. That's the meaning of Plato. So, he's an old Greek philosopher. You all must have read him, or at least heard about him. So, Plato has got a thought experiment. Suppose one day you get a ring, wearing which you become invisible. Nobody can see. Imagine. What you would do? You will go into the other's house and then pick up things, or, you can hurt people, you can do whatever you like. Because you have become invisible. So if you are left to yourself, You may come under the impulse of your reptile brain. You may do whatever you like to do because nobody is seeing you. So that's, I can say it's your unconscious. The suppressions and repressions which is there in your unconscious. So Plato says, therefore, you need some discipline for your own sake. So that in that ring which makes invisible will give you an insight into what is going on, what are the demons inside you or the basement of your mind. So that's why the Acharya, the scripture, Acharyas and teachers, all of them ask us, tell us what to do and what not. We need some help. We need some education, some culturing, some samskara, which is necessary. So there are three questions. What should I do? What I wish to do, left to myself. Left to myself, to my own impulses. What will I do? And the third question is, what did I end up doing? After all the education, after all the culturing, what did I end up doing? That is what you are now. So one of the fundamental principles is ahimsa, inclusion, non-violence. How far have I been successful in practicing ahimsa? I'm not successful, not fully successful, which is not possible also. We have seen that. So therefore, these three questions we have to keep asking, because the other two are secondary questions or subsidiary questions. What should I do? What I end up doing? Ultimately, when you look back, and what I would have done, I would have wished, I wish to do. Isn't it? If you have a horse with the wings, he would have gone all over the world, isn't it? If you have been allowed to do, let us say, do whatever you like. Then other person also will do whatever he likes. It will become complete pandemonium. So therefore, that's what is called education. The regard for the other. We have seen that. Regard for the other, which is the meaning of education or ethics or whatever. But the regard for the other should not be at the cost of regard for yourself. That is why SVADHARMA, we have seen that. It is a difficult call, isn't it? A tall call. I have to regard the other, I have to regard for myself, and the twain shall never meet. So how do I find the middle ground? That also we have discussed. The regard for the other should not be at the cost of you. If I regard you, you have to regard myself also. That is the yajna spirit. Reciprocal. I respect you, you respect me. Now you can go to the extreme. Like Mahatma Gandhi or Jesus Christ or such people. Whether the other person regards me or not, I continue to regard the other person. So that one day I hope the other person may discover his own or her own innate goodness. Which is possible. Gandhi was like that, Mahatma Gandhi. Christ was like that. Socrates. You keep on regarding the other, give on helping the other. But Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says that you cannot go on doing that. Because the other has no regard for you. It's a Nicha. Nicha means a fallen person. There's no regard for it. So therefore, there's a limit according to Krishna. Lord Krishna, there is a limit for your regard for the other. But there are people who also, that's all up to you. I have left that, answering that question to you. You decide. Left to myself, as a person, left to myself, I would follow the path of Gandhi. I keep on regarding the other, continue to regard the other. But I have no right to advise you that. You have to decide. But Krishna says you are within your right to reciprocally regard the other. If I regard you, you have to regard me back. Otherwise, I become a martyr without a cause, which is not necessary. So you have certain choice in that. That also we have seen how long you can go in regarding the other. Keep on regarding the other. That's why I said krodham akrodhena jayet. If somebody is angry, if you also become angry, then there are two angry people. Therefore, you have to be like Shiva. Shiva swallows the poison, but he does not get poisoned. He did not get poisoned. Actually, it became a blue spot around his neck. It added to his beauty. So if you have the resource for that, keep on doing that. If you don't have the resource, then you are within your right to ask for reciprocal regard and respect. So these are the things we have been seeing. So the question that what is Dharma is determined not as an individual. You decided as considering your relationship with the world and your transcendental relationship, put all these together. So I have given you 5 criteria, 5 values. One is ahimsa, in deciding what should I do. Ahimsa. Ahimsa includes inclusion, sustainability, human flourish. In a relationship, if you don't flourish, then you become a victim. You have to flourish. Both have to flourish. A and B, making a relationship, both have to flourish. If they both do not flourish, then you better quit. Because the world is wide enough. So, we have to see our relationship and transcendental nature, put all of them together. That's why ahimsa, dharana, sustainability, and prabhavam, flourish, progress. So how do you know you are doing the right thing? You know you are doing the right thing when your sense of progress. I am growing. I am learning. I am not being exploited in that relationship. When you feel like that, that is your Svadharma. So Svadharma is not a simple concept. It is a very complex concept. Svadharma. And Bhagavan says you have to know your Svadharma. What should I do? Because that question will stare at you every moment of your life. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Because our life unfolds in terms of choices that we make. So first criteria was ahimsa. Second was your prakriti, because you cannot go against your prakriti. So your calling should be in tune with your prakriti or your guna complex, guna combination. We have seen that. You cannot go against your prakriti. So we have to reflect on that. And how do you decide your prakriti? Prakriti is not a fixed quantity. You are not like a tree or an animal. A coconut seed can only produce coconut fruit, isn't it? A lion cannot become a vegetarian. But you can. You can. You have a choice. So your prakriti is not a fixed quantity. It is flexible. It can be refined in interaction with the world. That is what I said. I give a different definition of Svadharma. In olden times, in ancient times, Svadharma means your caste duties. Whichever caste you are born, that is your Svadharma. Whichever family you are born, that is your Svadharma. So I'm liberating you from that concept, because now we are living in a global village. You have the right to pursue any profession you like. But over a period of time, you discover this is not my dharma. Let me move a little bit. I joined the medical college. I spent 4 years there. But then I discovered I want to be a musician. Then I learned music for some time. Then I discovered I want to be a cook. Why not? Why not? Because cooking is later you can cook people also. Isn't it? Cooking is one of the oldest profession in the world. Nothing wrong with that. So you can keep on changing. I think it will take 48, up to the age of 45, you'll keep on moving, shifting and all that. Muhammad discovered, Prophet Muhammad discovered his calling at the age of 40. So it doesn't matter at what age you are discovering your calling. So it may take some time to discover your calling, emotional, intellectual and social maturity. Doesn't matter. So keep experimenting, through a process of competition and collaboration and all that. I have already discussed that. So it is not your caste or your birth family who determine. Olden days, my father was a barber, I will continue to be a barber because there was no universities. There is no public institutions. My father is a ironsmith, I continue to be like that. Because these days, my father encouraged me, don't do. My father was a farmer, says, don't come here, you go and study in the university. In olden days, it was not like that because community was stable all the time. A farmer's son become a farmer, a priest's son become a priest, a Kshatriya become a Kshatriya, no more. Otherwise, how can Obama become the President of the United States? Or Narendra Modi can become the Prime Minister of India. Or you can become a businessman. Because your father or grandfather was a farmer. So we are liberating you from the older definition of Svadharma. You are free to pursue anything through a process of experimentation. And thus you discover. So you are an open book. You are an open architecture. You are not yet been determined. That's what I mean. It is all in the process. That is the risk also. There is a risk. Every moment you have to be alert. I told you, Jagrada. Jagrada is very important. Every moment you have to be alert. Every step you take, you have to be alert. You cannot take anybody for granted. Whether your children or wife or friend or... We have seen that also, the mouse example. The mouse, the cat told the mouse, be my friend because you helped him. The mouse said, no, because we are not of the same category. So, a healthy doubt is important. Whereas other people who can go the whole hog, like Shibi, there is a beautiful example of Shibi in the Indian wisdom tradition. Shibi was a king, and one day he was sitting and having a cup of coffee in the morning, watching the sunrise. Then a dove and a falcon. A dove comes and sits in his lap. Save me, I'm being chased. So Shibi looked, then a falcon comes. Said, Maharaj, or king, my food is sitting, my breakfast is sitting in your lap. You are having a good breakfast, but my breakfast is sitting in your lap. Isn't it? And the dove says, please save me, he's going to eat me up. I came to get some worms in the morning for my children and my wife, and then they are sick and all that. Then what will Shibi do, the king? Should he protect the falcon or should he protect the dove? Both are his citizens. Finally, Shibi solved the problem by cutting a piece of flesh from his thighs and gave to the falcon. Eat your breakfast and go. You and I would have, you would have caught the falcon and the dove and fried and made our dinner, isn't it? See how solved. This is third way. This is one way. But how many times he can take flesh out of his body? How many times? There's a limit. There's a limit. Because he weigh only 250 pounds or 150 pounds. There's a limit. When the limit comes, you say enough is enough, isn't it? So there are people who go the whole hog in pursuing this. But there are people like the mouse, who is very careful. Very careful. So these are all left to you. Krishna says, Yadechasi tatha kuru. Do as you please. Do as you wish. Look into your resources. Accordingly, you have to do this. So considering all this, we have to determine our SVADHARMA. That is your responsibility. Now, so it is an open book, at every step of the way you have to learn, you have to adjust, you have to unlearn, learn. So when will this end? It will end only when the earth closes on your dead body. While you are consigned to the fire, then alone it will end. There's no end to our learning. There's no end to our ability to recast ourselves, rebirth ourselves, rewire ourselves. There's no end. You can keep on doing that. Doesn't matter whether you're old or young or man or woman, educated or uneducated. There's no end. You can keep on refurbishing, renewing, recycling yourself. That is possible. So, we understood how to manage this issue, how to go about it. We understood. So, there is something called your SVADHARMA. And so, first is ahimsa. Second is your prakriti. Third is yajna concept, give and take, reciprocal regard. And fourth is swartham. Swartha means you have to see whether I am flourishing in the whole process. If you are not flourishing in the whole process, you become a martyr, a victim, and I told you, you are killing the golden goose. You should be there. Otherwise, nothing is possible. So how do you put all this in and make a dish out of that? It's a big challenge. But all these ingredients and make a dish out of that, which is called SVADHARMA, my calling, my duty, my personality. So we have to, so every moment we have to be alert, learn, unlearn, and do the right thing. Now, so Krishna also said, Prakriti-stvam niyamshisi. So there is something which is guiding you into all this. Now, having decided that, this is what I am going to do. Now, there is a very interesting statement in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita says, all the choices you make will have its own defect. There is no perfect choice that we can. We cannot make everybody happy. There is no sarvaramba hi doshena dhumena agnirivavadaha. All the choices you make, all the efforts you put in, doshena dhumena agnirivavadaha. Like fire, there is no fire without smoke. There will be some smoke. There is some defect. The choices you make, let's say in the family, do you think you can make your wife happy all the time? Your children happy all the time? Your servants happy all the time? Your customer happy all the time? You can't. Nobody can do that. So, because I am not able to make everybody happy, I cannot take a decision, then you become paralyzed. Paralysis is the greatest sin. Keep on moving. Charayvedi, charayvedi. Make mistakes. So Krishna says, Sarvaramba hi doshena dhumena agnirivavadaha. There is no choice which is absolutely defect free. Every choice will have some defects. Meaning, you will make some people unhappy. Or you may not be able to explain fully to the other person why you made that choice. Sometimes you cannot explain to yourself. So therefore, because you are not able to perfect action, the desire for perfection is madness, as somebody said. That is the recipe for inaction. So don't be inactive. As Krishna says, karmannevadhikaraste ma phaleshu vadhajana. You can make a choice, but you may not be able to create the desired outcome. It's not within your powers. There are various other factors influencing your action. So therefore, that this consideration that I am not able to make a perfect choice, a perfect action, should stop you from moving forward. One of the fundamental principles, you have to keep moving, making choices within the available resource and data. Even a supercomputer will not be able to give you all the data. It's not possible. But still there will be some data of which you have no control or you have no knowledge. As somebody said, there are things which you don't know, things which you know you don't know, things which you don't know you don't know. Isn't it? There are several things playing about in this world. So therefore, with the available data, with the deep reflection, we have to make our choice. Karmannevadhikaraste ma phaleshu. You may not be able to influence the outcome of your action, but then you can learn. If you don't act, then there is no learning possible. You continue to worry, and then you become sick. You keep acting and then learning. And still you make a mistake. Because sometimes, your past knowledge may not be helpful in the present situation. Okay, I learned from the past mistake, and then that learning you bring to the new situation already changed. My God, this is quite problematic, isn't it? So the new situation, the past wisdom, knowledge may not help you in facing the new challenge. So there also you need some improvisation and innovation and all that. Because things are changing very fast. So considering all this, that the choices that I make may not be perfect. So that humility is very important. Ability to course correction. In the middle, you have to be able to change your course. That nimble-footedness is necessary. Otherwise, again, we can land up in difficulties. So what should I do? So you make your choice with the available resources and you act. When you act, with what attitude you should act, that also is very important. Now I am coming to a different dimension altogether. So having considered all these factors, so what are the 4 factors? Ahimsa, then prakriti, then yajna spirit, reciprocal regard, and then swartham. Swartham means your flourish, your happiness is very important. So put all this and then create a dish for yourself and enjoy it. Enjoy it or suffer it, because you made it, isn't it? Don't blame me. It's all this thing. If I am your guest, I have also suffer. Otherwise, I just watch you, eating it. So therefore, so when I make this choice, my action, my SVADHARMA is to be done as an offering. That's why the Bhagavan says, Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindhavivanama. My karma is a puja, is an offering. This is a qualitatively different attitude. So having decided what I am doing, this is what I am doing. So that should be made as an offering, a puja, a worship, a gift. To whom? To Ishvara. Ishvara is beyond even the environment. So there is a power to whom I am beholden. And more than that, I don't know anything about that power. Of course, scripture says certain things. So there is a power I can feel. As somebody said, that faith is a gift. That's a gift. To have that insight. And in the Dharma literature, we call it Ishvara, one who governs. Ishavasya Upanishads, we have seen that. So my karma, my choices became an offering, a puja to Ishvara. The Bhagavad Gita says, Yata pravrittir bodhanam yena sarvamidam tadam sugarmanatam apyasya siddhim vindadi manavaha. Make your choices or karma as an offering, as a puja. So generally puja means what we do, pluck a flower or cook some rice and then offer it to Ishvara at the altar. In Hinduism, it's very interesting. In Christianity and Islam, the Semitic religion, God is just transcendent. He created the world and then left it like that. Whereas in Hinduism, Ishvara is not only transcendent, Ishvara is immanent also. Therefore, you can have a murti, a statue, and say, this is God. This is my God. You can download God, let me put it. You can download God and nothing will happen to God, don't worry. Because I take a piece of God from him and everybody take a piece and there will be hardly nothing left with the God. No, you can download. And still God remains Purnamada, Purnamidam. So you can have a murti which represent your concept of God. The visual representation, not just verbal. In Semitic religion, God is represented verbally. The book. But in Hindu religion, even because the Buddhist or Jaina religion, God is represented visually. Which are improvement on verbal description, isn't it? These days, everything is visual, emoji and all that. So I can have a representation of God and then offer a flower. Or whatever I eat, a little bit of that, whatever I am going to eat, I take a portion of that and offer it. Or I sing the glory instead of singing your own glory. That is what we are doing all the time. I did that, I will do that, I might have done that, but for this person. So you can glorify this God. In the process, you are glorified. That's a very intelligent way of glorifying yourself, isn't it? When I glorify you, you will glorify me also. So there are two glorified people. When I put you down, you also pull my leg. Both are in the ditch. So I would say this is an advanced way of relating with the Ishvara. The statue, which represent your idea of God, and offer a flower every day. Or a part of the food that you are going to eat. Or a praise to God. Because we all want to be praised all the time. So we offer that. And it will come back. Or a namaskaram, prostration. When you prostrate and get up 10 times, it is improve your health also, isn't it? Hinduism is a very interesting religion. Not because I am a Hindu. I'm telling you, it's very interesting. Because it includes all aspects of your life. Your health, your relationship, your choices. So every day you are required to prostrate. When I prostrate, Sashtanga Namaskar. Your nose and your chin and your chest and your stomach and your knee and your toes touch the ground. These days when we prostrate on the stomach touches, the rest are all going round and round, isn't it? So it is a daily medical report, health report, that you are healthy, you are able to fall and get up and fall and get up without any help. Anybody's help. So this is what is called puja. We have to do it every day. Every day we have to remember this relationship I have with Ishvara, then you become a bhakta. Earlier you were a bhukta. Bhukta means all the time thinking of what I get, what will I get, consumption, consumption-driven economy, isn't it? To a certain extent it is okay. Now it's coming to a dead end now, consumption-driven economy. So instead of being a consumer all the time, thinking about that, you become a bhakta. I offer or I give a flower. What a beautiful life that will be. I offer something. So over a period of time, your bhakti, your devotion develops into an all-encompassing devotion. Not only you offer a flower or a cooked rice or praise or prostrations, your whole work become an offering. That is the greatest offering. Swagarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manva. And as a result of that, when you offer your work to the Lord, every moment, so you yourself become a flower at the feet of the Lord. You yourself become an offering. You know, in the Christian tradition also, that Abraham was asked to sacrifice his son. It has got a symbolic meaning. What is the meaning of offering? It is not cutting his throat. Because the son was a gift to me and I offer it to Lord, then take him back. Then I am a caretaker. I am a custodian, caretaker. Not the son didn't come through me. The son didn't come from me. He came through me. So with that attitude, we understand that this is a gift and I give it back. And then I get it back. Then I give it back. Then I get it back. So you create that flow of energy. Ultimately, your work becomes an offering to the Lord. Whatever you do. Yadyat karma karomi tattadakhilam shambho tavarādhani. You know, there is a praise of Shiva. Atma tum girijamadi sahajara prana shariram griham pujate vishayo bhavodharajana nidra samadhi sthidihi sanjara padayo pradakshana vidhi sutrani sarva giro yadyat karma karomi tattadakhilam Shambho Tavaradhan. All that I do is my offering. What a beautiful life that will be. Every moment I become a flower falling at thy lotus feet. All my work, all my thoughts, all my feelings, all my deeds, all are offering at your feet. This attitude is to be brought in. Then, even there is defect in your choices, it will not affect you. It will not affect. It will not affect the environment. Even there is some defect in your choice. There can be defect in your choice. So, by doing my work and offering to the Lord, Ishvara, so the Ishvara factor is to be brought in. It requires some insight. It cannot be reached just by logical reasoning, linear reasoning. You need a comprehensive reasoning. In the Dharma tradition, we say your emotion and your reason should merge in the crucible of your experience. Then alone you will get that insight of seeing Ishvara. Like the modern physicist is able to see atoms and all that. Nobody has seen atom. It's all insight. Nobody has seen an electron. It is all insight. But based upon that insight, they can create devices. So similarly, we need some insight so that we can change our life and create devices like a murti, offering flower and prostrations and all that. So that insight is a gift. That insight is a gift. And we all are capable of getting that gift. That gift is there. We have to tune to that. So, so our whole life becomes a puja, an offering, a homa, whatever you want to say. That is the transformation that we are talking about. That is the conversion we are talking about. The conversion. We have to experience that conversion, that the whole life is an offering. So, by doing that, so Bhagavan says, Yadyat karma karomi tattat akhilam Sambodh. That's the devotee says, Sambodh avarat. So, Swakarmana tamabhyasya siddhim bindadi manava. Your whole life becomes an offering to that Ishvara. Then, there is certain peace of mind. Actually, it is only now you will be capable of meditation, of Brahma Vichara, reflecting upon the truth, which is our next 5 lectures. To reflect on the truth, not just intellectually, but experientially, not partially, but wholly. Not by asking question, but making your life as a quest. Asking question is not a ping pong game. I ask you a question, you give me an answer, then without listening your answer, I am making another questions. That doesn't help. So now you are capable of undertaking the inquiry into the deeper truth of life. Then alone you will understand when I say you are Brahman or you are Shiva. Otherwise it will just go over your head and hit on the wall and come back to me. Isn't it? Like seeds thrown on a slippery slope. So to undertake this deeper inquiry into the nature of Brahman, to realize that my nature is happiness and all that, we have to go through this process. Discover your SVADHARMA. Do it as an offering to the Lord. And gain that mental maturity. What we call antakarana shuddhi. In the dharmic language, antakarana shuddhi. A certain purity and depth of mind. Where you are not violently reacting to the outcome of your work. You have the depth to integrate what comes out of the outcome, good or bad, pleasurable or painful. You are able to integrate and learn from it. Otherwise you won't. You will only create more and more reactions. And put yourself in a corner in the process. So even learning is possible only through this process. Otherwise, learning is not possible. You can accumulate knowledge, useless knowledge, and become a consultant or something. I find all the people who are consulted, I have nobody in mind, please. They don't apply to themselves. They give to others. So here is a life transforming learning. So when the mind becomes calm and quiet. You are not reacting to the little pinpricks of life. That's what I call antakarana shuddhi, mental purity, mental maturity. Meaning you are not reacting violently. You are able to take in your stride the little pinpricks of life and stay in course, stay steady. So that antakarana shuddhi and ekagrata. Ekagrata means ability to see what is your goal. You don't get deflected from there. Which is very difficult. Because little things can deflect you and then you go here and there. So the ekagrata, one-pointedness, seeing your life's purpose very clearly. What is the life purpose? To realize one's own inner joy and happiness, Brahmanhood, for which you need this mental maturity. So you see the connection now. Your SVADHARMA, which itself is which requires a lot of education, then offering your work as an offering to the Ishvara, which is itself requires insights and discipline, and then you gain that mental maturity. Then all the ghosts in your unconscious can be made to dance your tune. Those ghosts are all good. I don't say they are bad things. All your past experience fall in place now. Good and bad experience. You can create a wealth out of waste. Or from scrap, you can make a beautiful statue. Which is possible. Provided you have this attitude. So your past will be integrated properly. It will not sit as a weight on your shoulder, but become insight and wisdom. So have this attitude. Swadharmana tamapya. So that's now you are capable. So Bhagavad Gita also says, Yogarudasya tasyeva shamakaranam uchyate. Isn't it? Those who are students of Bhagavad Gita. Aruruchor munir yogam karma karanam uchyate. This karma, this kind of choice making and offering to the Lord is necessary for meditation. So most of the people, they meditate and they are not successful. They just sit and shake their head or then chant some mantra and all that. After some time they get tired. Transcendental meditation. You don't know what is transcendent. You don't know what it is. It will become a transcendental nonsense at the end of it. So every teacher comes and gives you some trick. And you are on a trip. Because you are always looking for something exciting. Something to distract you. So therefore, unless we go through this process, meditation will not be successful. Brahman inquiry will not be successful. This process is very, very important. So, Swagarmana tamapirchya siddhim vindati manava. So thus, we have the mental. So how do you know I have attained the maturity? You don't react violently. You only respond. This is my mantra. Don't react, but respond. Reaction you have no control. Response you have no control. Reaction means environment is controlling you. Response means you are making your choice, authentic choice. So thus, when the mind is mature, calm, and you are able to deal with the world, because you cannot run away from the world anyway. Running away from the world is not possible. Wherever you go, the world will chase you. Wherever you go. Oh, let me go to the seashore, and the world is there with you. So while we are dealing with the world, you must keep this. It's like cycling. Bicycle. You climb on the cycle and balance it. Then you can move forward. If you don't balance on the cycle, you will fall. Similarly, the ups and downs of life, we have to balance. Like walking on a rope on the Niagara, you must keep your balance. So once we do that, we are ready for meditation. Both this meditation is a real meditation. There are the other meditation on the mat meditation, which is a good training for you. At least on the mat you are calm and quiet. I hope, isn't it? So this become a lifelong meditation. Every moment you are in a meditative enterprise. So thus we are ready for Brahma Anudhyanam, meditation on Brahman, the transcendent, the higher. We are ready to dive deep into ourselves or fly beyond the clouds. Fly up beyond the clouds. What is deep down, what is up there will meet in this meditation. So, the next 5 talks will be on Brahman. Brahman means your essential nature, which is the essential nature of the universals, where the universe and you meet. You come to that point of singularity, from where you can draw everything endlessly. Then you become a Jivan Mukta, a living, liberated individual. Embodied enlightenment is possible. So, we have given you the meaning of Svadharma or Dharma. This is the meaning of Dharma. And from Dharma, you move into Brahman. So we'll see you next time, Saturday. I hope you are all ready for that final dive into the depth of your being. And with this understanding, we are ready. Thank you very much.